sign them. I'm going to put them out on that table.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Monday, May 10th, Lebanon Board of Works meeting. Our first order of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll move on to the roll call members. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Sure. Mayor Gentry.
Present.
Becky McClure. Present. Bill Stoner.
Present.
Dick Robertson.
Present.
Alan Milburn.
Present.
Thank you.
Okay, move on to the approval of the minutes from our previous meeting. Are there any edits or changes to the minutes? Okay, would entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion we approve the minutes?
We have a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second? Second. Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Minutes are approved. All right, move on to department head reports. First up is Police Department, Chief Morgan.
Good evening, board members. Since our last meeting, the Lebanon Police Department has responded to 558 calls for service. 10 people were arrested in that same time frame for the following crimes. 1 for operating while intoxicated, 3 were wanted on a warrant, 2 for battery on an officer, 1 for domestic battery, 1 for possession of a handgun without a permit, 1 for unlawful possession of a syringe, and 1 for criminal recklessness. In that same time frame, 12 handgun carry licenses were sent to the state for final approval. In that same 2 weeks, Sylvia's Child Advocacy Center conducted training over a 3-day period. Responding to child abuse and neglect, the training highlighted investigative procedures and services available for the children and their families. Officer James Kuntz and Officer McCloskey graduated at the top of their class in the classroom portion of the Drug Recognition Experts Training. A field portion of that will be conducted sometime later this year. This training helps them recognize impairment in people other than just alcohol. Austin Brown completed rifle training in John Lavelle's Warrior Poet Society class. And Jason Morgan and Caleb Vickery completed the Warrior Poet medical training. This was conducted at our police department in the wash bays due to the stress that they wanted to put on the students with loud music and fake blood, and they had them practice putting on tourniquets, bandages, doing airways, not necessarily just for like gunshot wounds, but car accidents and stuff like that. So they wanted to make it a high stress level, so we opened up our bay so we could wash it down when they were done. LPD served as a staging area for the Amazon donation, where they provided cleaning supplies, hygiene products, baby products, and 30 Boone County nonprofits. They came and picked up all of these items and used it for the nonprofits. That's all I have.
Great. Thank you, Chief. Any questions for Chief Morgan?
Nope.
Any questions from the public? Thank you, sir. Next up is Fire Department, Deputy Chief Baird.
Good evening, Mayor, Board of Works. Since the last Board of Works meeting, the Fire Department has responded to 233 emergency calls, logged 723 training hours, performed 18 commercial pre-plans and 96 commercial inspections. We also installed 4 car seats. Starting on April 27th, firefighters Zach Reork, Sean Yancey, and Sam Doherty are enrolled in the state certification for pumper operator. Pumper operator is required certification for all engineers and backup engineers. For the last 4 years, we participated in the Western Boone Career Fair, and this year we solicited Communications and Community Development Director Joe LePage, I don't know if Joe's here, to help us with our video, and he did an amazing job, a little better than I would have done. Came out great. Currently, we're hosting a state certification class for rope rescue operations and technician. We have 16 firefighters enrolled in this class. Special thanks to Lieutenants Matt Young and Jason Adams and firefighter Preston Appleset for instructing the class. On May 7th and 8th, engineer Tyler Gary attended class for state certification driver operator mobile water supply. And that's all we have.
Thank you, Deputy Chief. Any questions for Mike? Any questions from the public? Thanks, sir. Next up will be Parks and Recreation. John Messenger.
Good evening. Hope all you mothers had a nice, lovely Mother's Day. Nasty weather, so you got to relax and enjoy. But congrats to all you mothers out there. Upgrades are completed at Seashore Water Park. We have new paint, new canvas, umbrellas, new concession stand tables, new deck chairs, lighting, etc. And we have water in the pool now, so it's good to go. A little chilly right now, but we're good for the season. Also have opened up pool passes this year. You can visit seashorewaterpark.org to get your pool pass for this year. We have 3 pool parties left on Thursdays. They're all booked for the season, so if you want a pool party, you better hurry because there's only 3 left. Last week or so, we planted a few memorial trees in the past there in Memorial Park. Several of the trees were in memory of Mr. Tom Temple. He was just a sweet man. Daily Walker, too, after he retired there. Some of his friends, Lori and Ken Arnold, donated a tree along with co-workers from IUMCH. Planted one down at the Conservation Pond also. A tree for Jerry Erskine, his 90th birthday. So I think that was a celebration last Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Really nice for all his past community service, and obviously he was instrumental in the cleanest city, but he got to celebrate his 90th birthday, and I think family and friends came in, but that was nice of the Rotary to take care of that. John Lastly also donated a couple of trees, a nice magnolia that I'm hoping lives. It was a transplant, and another tree that he planted, but that was nice of John Lastly to donate those trees also. We're holding off till the fall for any more donations, but we're already starting a list. That's the best time to plant. We tried to get these in before the rains. So if you'd like to donate, Memorial's pretty filled up, but we have the Hot Pond, we have Abner Longley that could use a lot of trees. Asphalt work has already been done at the baseball field around there, or inside the fence. As far as that, it's been well received. We're going to start the walking path next to the baseball fence this coming week, sometime hopefully at the end of latter part of the week. And the areas right across from the baseball diamond Memorial Park, along with the entrance/exit on 39. Those will be done hopefully the end of the week, so there will be some closures around there and have to go out other exits, so be aware of that, and I'll try and post it as best I can. It's a weather thing, so when they can get out, they will. The Megan Hammerly 5K was this past Saturday, had a beautiful weather and a nice turnout, and I'm glad to see that. Nice day for that. Also, our current and upcoming programs, the Princess Party was held this last Saturday in Memorial Park. It was a great hit and had great turnout along with great weather. Attendees were able to visit with Cinderella and Belle and take a carriage ride around the park. Again, it was just really nice. I want to also special thank you to Mermazing Princess Parties and Taylor Moss for being our princesses. They did an outstanding job, and little girlies loved it. It was just wonderful. We opened registration for our 2021 June and July swim lessons on May 3rd, and we are completely booked already. That's the kind of things we're having with our events. They just fill up real quick. Just like our carriage rides, we're booked in less than 3 hours. So if you want in on any of these events, got to jump real quick. Looking forward to seeing the kiddos this summer, though. Registration for our Stars and Strikes co-ed softball tournament is now open. The tournament will be held on Saturday, June 26th at Abner Longley Park. Register in the office there again, or by phone. Challenge out to the fire department, police department, street department, engineering department. Get a softball team together and let's go. As far as that goes, there's a challenge. Our pickleball season is almost over, and there will be a small tournament within the league held on Friday evening, May 21st. Been a very fun season, and we're hopeful to have another one in the near future. Currently in the planning stages for the daddy-daughter dance and a mother-son event, so stay tuned. Outside events, we have an RC competition coming up this Sunday, May 16th, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Entry's $5 as far as that, and part of the money, there's several courses, so it's $5 a course that you run. Part of the money is going to veterans so they can help purchase cars for veterans with PTSD, what have you. And the other $5 will go right back into the course itself. Buick Club Car Show will be June 5th, 9 a.m. registration. Kiwanis Fishing Derby, which is a huge one. We finally get to do that again this year. June 12th, 8 a.m. to 11:30, and that will be held at the Hot Pond. And looking forward to that. I think we just stocked that pond with over 1,000 fish, and there'll be more fish coming the week of that tournament, the big ones, the big cats. Anyway, Colonial Market Days will be June 12th and June 13th at Abner Longley Park, and that's all I had.
Thank you, John. Any questions for John from the board? Anything from the public? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next up will be Engineering Department, Kevin Krulik.
Thank you, Board. Engineering update for this week. It's been a little while since we've been in front of you, since our last meeting was canceled. Give you an update on projects around the city. Downtown, we did have to, we were prepared to do some resurfacing on the sidewalk in front of Lacey Boggs and St. Adrian's the week we were supposed to meet last, but that got delayed due to some contractor scheduling issues. And now we're just trying to get on the schedule when both businesses will be closed. Well, the next week for that is the week of June 7th. So we're looking to add some more grit to that sidewalk surface the week of June 7th. It's not really slippery right now, but in the wintertime it became a little slippery, so we want to take care of that issue. Other things going on downtown, I know we're really done with the downtown project, but we are working on the Montgomery Ward lot and resurfacing that. The final stone came in to top off the demolition area last week, and we've been told by the paving contractor that they should be in here this Friday to put binder down. Surface is going to wait a little longer due to some availability of milling subcontractors to mill off with the existing pavement, and then we will come back later in the spring, early summer, and finish up the final surface coat, finish up the striping. 44 spaces will be created when we're all said and done. That includes 2 ADA accessible spaces, 1 for van accessibility. We will also are going to make kind of a temporary trailhead at that location. Since it is along the Big 4 trail, we're going to build an enclosure for some portalets, put in a bench and a trash can, just to help to utilize that space a little better in one of the unused corners where the parking spaces are after the parking spaces are striped. Other projects around the city, we have set our pre-construction meeting for mid-June on all of our pavement resurfacing projects associated with community crossings, and the resurfacing is supposed to start in early July. We are also coordinating with the street department to expand those paving programs to pick up a few other additional areas that have been brought to our attention that need some care. Some coordination on the NDOT projects. Just remind everyone that the improvements at State Road 32 and 39 have been delayed a year due to funding at the state level, and we are still waiting to hear back on when they're going to install the stoplights at 32 and Ping Drive at the southwest corner there of Ice Cream Paradise. Whit Road Bridge, 2 of the 3 parcels are now secure. Mr. Shine and the rest of our legal counsel team are working on the 3rd one, so hopefully we'll have that here shortly. Bridge construction, again, is expected for September this fall. It'll be a 45-day closure and be wrapped up and back open to traffic in 45 days and completely out of there by December 1st. Also on bridges, working on the Elmwood Bridge, utility coordination is ongoing. Coordination with the Boone County Highway Department is also moving forward, as well as keeping Ulen involved in that project as well. The bridge is technically just outside of Ulen, but it is contributing to the historic district, and we are trying to be sympathetic to the historic nature of the bridge. Active living programs, our first cost share sidewalk program is taking place already this year. 12 applications so far. Mind there's limited budget there, so if you are in the public and would like to help participate with replacing of your sidewalks, please, we welcome you to participate in the cost share program and get your applications in. Right-of-way acquisition is also going forward on miscellaneous sidewalk projects around the city. Primarily, we're looking at Riley Road west of Sam Ralston. That will include the widening of Riley Road, so we're working on right-of-way acquisitions there. We'll also include sidewalks on that. We're also working on right-of-way acquisitions on Witt Road, Lafayette Avenue, up to the bridge replacement on Witt Road, so we can connect those sidewalks and get all those people. So once the bridge is in, we'll have sidewalks and paths that will cross the bridge and take people all the way from those Hickory Meadows, Rolling Meadows neighborhoods all the way down into the heart of the community. And then we are also working on Elm Swamp Road from Anderson Lane out to Auburn Meadows, getting better pedestrian connectivity out in that direction. So again, most of those projects I mentioned are right-of-way acquisitions at this time, but getting those out of the way so we can build more sidewalks.
Hey, Kevin, quick question on the right-of-way for the up to Auburn Meadows.
Yes.
Is that on the east or west side of the road?
We were figuring on the east side.
Okay.
So it would be on the side that Auburn Meadows is.
Okay.
We've got some new development happening in that area, so that's going to probably help speed things along in that area, so we're excited to see that.
The side with the church?
Yes, the
Yep.
side with the church.
Yep, just want to double check. Thanks.
Big Four Trail, talk about that for a minute. Consultants have wrapped up all the survey work on the project and are moving forward with that in association with our Next Level Trails grant. Grant Street project, right-of-way buying process has begun. We held our neighborhood coordination meeting on May 3rd. I think we had about 5 neighbors come out to just get some more information on what was happening there. Everyone seems to be pleased with the plans to improve Grant Street, adding sidewalks, adding lighting, adding trees. I think it's going to be a nice improvement for what is really a gateway into the city, especially a gateway to our school system. Also associated with that is the William Street project. That is, so we'll do Grant Street, and then we'll also do William Street from Grant over to Bridge 311. The county is replacing Bridge 311. We had our pre-construction meeting on that last week. All the utilities are now out of the way, and they will be starting construction. Detour signs will go up the week of the 24th or 25th in anticipation of construction starting the following week after school wraps up that week. Expect a 75-day closure of the bridge and the intersection of Ann and William Street. So that'll be closed from roughly June 1st through August 15th. Fordyce Road, right-of-way acquisitions services have also been released there. If you live along that corridor, you may have already been contacted by RWS, the right-of-way buying firm that's a sub-consultant to GAI Consultants on that project. So we encourage everyone to take part in that process and communicate as best you can with them. If you have any questions for us, though, please feel free to call me or the planning office, and you can talk more. We're happy to talk more about the scope of the project. We're also working on a reimbursement agreement with Fisher Homes in that area to provide the stormwater outlet. We now have completed legal review, and that is back in Fisher's hands. And that's really the last step for them to start construction on that new neighborhood that will enter off of Fordyce Road. So a couple quick bike park updates. We're still working through IDEM's request for additional information that we received in March. We've started some of that work. Week before last, we were out there and did some additional testing to determine the more precise locations of the solid waste boundary. We were also taking gas meters and take gas meter readings out there, both in the holes, the test holes that we were doing to determine the waste boundary, and in the ambient air. Happy to report we at no point uncovered any gas readings of any kind. So that's good. Sometimes that can be a concern with landfill areas of gases escaping from the decomposing trash material. Happy to report that we found nothing. And if we would have found it, it should have been found when we were digging holes into the trash. So good to report that out there. I remind you that IDEM has approved us to start stockpiling on the site in anticipation of their final review. We do have a lot more of technical issues to cover with IDEM, and as well as with the county. But so we're not going to stockpile just yet, but IDEM has given us the green light to start stockpiling construction material. And just a few other inspection items to note from Mr. Calvert and his inspection efforts around the city. Sunbrook Villas, Witt Road should be back open to traffic this week as they get that paved. We're looking at Auburn Meadows Phase 3 for proof rolling, that subgrade any day now, and getting ready to start putting in curbs and asphalt. The Lebanon Airstream has now pulled building permits and continues their site development work. And on the Syracuse Drive water main project, we'll be talking a little bit more about that later in the agenda, but sidewalk and drive approach work should be starting this week as well on that. It's really a Lebanon Utilities project, but just to keep everybody up to date on what's happening around the city. I think that's all I have for now.
Thank you, Kevin. Any questions from the board? Any questions from the public? Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Next up will be Planning Department, Ben Bontrager.
Good evening, board members. Planning Department continues to remain busy, but I'm kind of looking at the numbers that I have for you tonight. There's some interesting things happening, as you know, in the housing market and construction industry, so we're still issuing quite a few permits, but our building inspections are way down. And what I can attribute that to is Riley Ridge, the neighborhood, essentially is done with construction. They've built 86 homes in less than 2 years, and their construction is essentially wrapping up on all those homes and complete, so our inspection numbers are way down. So as we all know, the housing market right now, the demand is still very strong, and the supply of existing homes for sale is essentially non-existent. So builders are trying to get lots available to construct homes, but now they're running into problems getting supply of building materials. So for Sunbrook and Sunbrook Villas right now, they can't get materials to actually construct homes that people want constructed. So our activity in terms of inspections is way down because there's no construction activity because they can't get lumber. So it's just a really interesting market to track, and we're continuing to track that and see how that works. We certainly have a lot of neighborhoods coming online, and hopefully we'll have some activity as we go through the year. But right now it's been a real challenge for a lot of our builders to be able to remain active and sell lots and build homes. So a lot of activity we're seeing, but it'll be interesting to see as we get into the summertime how that continues to unfold. In terms of activity, we have a submittal for a rezone for another residential neighborhood up on the northeast side. Kevin alluded to it. The property between Chadwick and Auburn Meadows, there's a rezone to allow residential development there. That will start its way through the Plan Commission process this next month, or this month actually. No, in June. Sorry, in June will. So that just got filed, so we'll have some additional activity. I know there are other builders that are looking at properties both on the north side and south sides of the community, so we will be seeing other activity as we go into the summer as it relates to that. So definitely a lot of pent-up demand in there, and builders are trying to acquire properties and get developments on the ground. But there's just pitfalls at every stage of the game right now to try to deliver product to people that need houses, so definitely working through that. On the code enforcement side, activity has definitely picked up. We're into the summer months, or the spring and summer months now. Activity in the code enforcement staff has probably doubled from where it was over the winter time, just in the last couple of weeks. And also, you look at the new cases, we're definitely seeing the pickup in junk vehicles and weeds and grass. We're really spending a lot of time on that, and those numbers will continue to increase as and grass has started getting to the point now where we haven't mowed it. It's pretty tall at this point, so we're going to start seeing it. So activity has definitely picked up, and we'll continue to do that throughout the year. So that's all I got for you.
Thank you, Ben. Any questions for Ben from the board? Any questions from the public? Okay. Next is the Street and Stormwater Department, Dave Newell.
How's everybody doing? I denied John's request for softball. We got too many trophies down there. We don't have enough room for any more. We've been finally got to start our mowing of our easements around town. That was with all the storm from the last snow. We were so busy with brush for 3 weeks, and then so it should look a lot better on Indianapolis Avenue and some of our areas we mow. I think John sprayed them already too for the dandelions, so that helps out. We also gotten into some properties that we got from the planning department, 3 properties in Popeye's Chicken. We finally got those mowed as well. I guess we do those till they get them bidded out, is my understanding. Myself and Lana worked all last week on the annual operations report for the State Board of Accounts. We got that turned in. It's not due till June, but we like to stay ahead of that stuff so that Tanya can breathe easier. That's turned in.
Thanks.
We'll have we have the street sweeper out this week as well. We've timed that to when we're running brush twice a month, or every second week of the month we run the sweeper. That way it gives us a good schedule and we can make it through the town. It just helps a lot. Stormwater crew has already rebuilt 2 structures last week, and we got a full schedule for them this going forward. So we're just, when we do brush, we pull both crews in, and the Parks Department loans us their chipper, and we just knock it out. So it kind of stops other progress when we're doing that, but they definitely got plenty on their list to do. We just trying to get rolling with it with all this rain and stuff. We've been pretty busy cleaning the catch basins, stay ahead of the rain. As you can see, those helicopter things come down, they clog up. You wouldn't think they do, but they clog up the drains bad, so it's knee deep if you don't get them cleaned off. So we're trying to stay ahead of the rains on that. And that being said, we are running brush this week till Friday. So if you got any brush, have it out there and we'll get it. And then our schedule for the rest going forward for that still, since we've knocked one out, is June 7th through the June 11th. That'll be another brush week. July 12th through the 16th will be a brush week. Not to say that we won't go out the 4th maybe, if there's something on our parade route, but we hope people just follow it and don't put it out there. That'd be nice. August 9th through the August 13th, September 13th through 17th, and we'll follow. Our last one will be October 11th through the 15th, and then we'll be getting ready for leaf season after that. But that's all we got.
Thank you, Dave. Any questions for Dave from the board? Anything from the public? Okay, thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Next is Communications and Community Development. You filling in for Joe? Yep. Matt? All right, Matt Reynolds.
Good evening, Board. Filling in for Joe tonight. He wanted me to pass along just a few short items. First off, on Boone County Summerfest. Interest in the Boone County Summerfest has been picking up substantially. The Free to All celebration for music and family has officially has 26 vendors to go along with the 8 bands that'll take place over the 2-day event on Saturday and Sunday, June 5th and 6th. The event will run from noon to 8 on both of those days. Soon you can expect to see continued information about the event in the form of a Love in Lebanon podcast that will feature the event organizers Lisa Sauce of Blonde Entertainment, as well as local musician and friend Tim Newman. Also be on the lookout for a way that you yourself can become a volunteer at the event. Volunteers will be given up-close access with the bands, some great concert swag, and then also something unique, the possibility for you to receive a free concert in your own backyard. So be on the lookout for information on that. The CSX mural, where the city is in the budgeting and paint planning stage of the CSX mural on the bridge along Indianapolis Avenue. Working with local artists to get a defined timeline for the completion. The mural itself is going to have an underwater theme that will feature a stuffed octopus whose stitching has come unraveled and a deep sea diver who has taken the plunge to help repair its underwater friend. And lastly, the tiger statues. The name of statue number 19 that'll be going in at Central Elementary School will be released this week. And then the 20th and final statue of the first round is set to be unveiled before the end of the school year. And then later this week, you'll be able to see a video that's been put together of all of the deliveries of the tiger statues and the reactions of the happy recipients of those statues. So be on the lookout for that coming up later this week. And that's all I got from Joe.
Thank you, Matt. Any questions for Matt? I know it's not his department, but no. Anything from public? Okay, thank you, sir. Thanks for filling in. Okay, that concludes department head reports. Move on to old business. Anything on my agenda? Is there anything from the board?
No old business.
Okay, new business then. I know we have some guests here tonight, so do I have consent to take the agenda out of order? Consent? 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 All right, I'm going to have the alley encroachment request first. So Kevin Krulik, this is yours. And Stacy?
Thank you. Sorry, let me get my papers in the right order here. So what we're here to talk about tonight is an alley encroachment request from Stacy Dempster of Merle Norman. Merle Norman, as you know, is now located on the west side of the square. So obviously this is your courthouse. This is the alley where the Cowens drive-through is. And just north of that alley is the location where Merle Norman is currently located. That alley is an active alley for transportation purposes, but what is trying to happen here is trying to recreate the historic entrance to the upper floor of that building. So this is a picture, gosh, I'm guessing from the 50s, where you can see that if you could, this is a kind of a bad picture, but if you really zoom in, you can tell that is actually we think it's a wrought iron staircase that goes up to the side of that building and is really the original and only access point for that upper floor. So with that, I'll turn it over to Stacy to fill you in a little bit more on her intention. But we're here tonight to talk about the approval to place that staircase in the public right-of-way.
Okay.
Hello. How's everybody doing tonight?
Great.
Good. My name's Stacy Dempster. Some of you may know me, some of you may not, but I have owned the Merle Norman Cosmetic Studio and facial spa and boutique in downtown Lebanon for 17 years now. As many of you know, I just moved across the street. I was at 117 North Meridian Street, and I was a renter, and I have moved across the street, directly across the street if there was not a courthouse, at 116 North Lebanon Street, and I'm now a property owner. So, lots of things have changed in the past few months, and just to give you a little background, if you haven't been to the Merle Norman, it is a cosmetic studio, skincare, and I don't know if you knew this, but Merle Norman was originally from Logansport, Indiana. Lots of Indiana ties. I also carry Vera Bradley, and that's handbags and accessories, also made in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And I carry DeBrand's chocolates, made in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And I just started carrying Brighton, and that, I don't know if the men know this. Have you heard of Brighton before? No. Thought you put you on the spot. Well, it's leather belts and leather wallets, men's wallets, so you can come and shop. And also Brighton handbags and jewelry. And I have a variety of boutique items. And then I also have a spa. So just to give you a little background, so we've transformed the yoga studio, which it was for about 3 or 4 years, into a beautiful boutique. And you'll have to stop in and check it out sometime because we've really worked hard. We moved in December 26th and opened within weeks. So we're up and running. And the reason why I'm here is I have a second floor and there's no access to the second floor. It's a story and a half. And the only way to access it, and I've told Kevin this, and I'm not sure if he really understood until he experienced it himself, it's a Scooby-Doo entrance. You have to access it from the neighbors, which is the coffee house. And so I have to go through their building, through their attic, and there's a hole in the wall. And that's how I get to the second floor. So I would like to use that second floor and turn it into a 2-bedroom apartment. And it has such cool character, and it has a really neat atmosphere. Even Kevin mentioned, boy, that's a neat view of the courthouse. So it used to be some business offices, and actually, when I first moved in, I went upstairs. The keys are still hanging from the owner that left it. So there's some keys, and the access door is just boarded up, it's still there, and I plan to keep it. In addition, there's some pretty cool old windows that are the original, over 100 and some years old. I don't even know how old the building is. Missy, do you know? Not sure. Over 120 years old. So it's been a lot of things. It's been a Western Auto for many, many years, which many people remember the Western Auto. It's also been, I think, a boutique, and it's been a cafe, so lots of history. So anyway, I can't get to it, like I said, unless I go through the Scooby-Doo entrance. And I've had an engineering firm come and take a look and give me their recommendation on the best way to access the second floor. So Jenny Leschny from Burke Engineering in Indianapolis came and took a look. And I'm going to read some of the info from her recommendations. So she has reviewed 2 exterior options and an interior option. And she says, first of all, the interior option is not feasible because due to limited space available within the narrow footprint of the retail floor space. In addition, if I would put an apartment up there, a 2-bedroom apartment, I wouldn't want someone coming through my store to get to it. So that makes sense, I believe, for you all also. But it would take way too much of my retail space. I've got it pretty full in there right now. So anyway, then we looked at a couple of options as far as accessing it from the outside. And the rear access to the second story is problematic, she says, because the entire back west half of the building is a single story. So the width of the building is only 20 feet. The rise and the run requirements for stairs would require a stair tower to achieve the appropriate elevation to the roof of the building. The necessary alley encroachment would be 10 to 12 feet and extend into the traveled way of the alley. A deck would have to be extended across the first story of the roof to the back of the second story section of the building. The roof includes a parapet wall to which the stairs and dock cannot be mounted. Therefore, the deck would have to be supported by the roof. Based on her review and on their review of the inspection of the roof, any penetration of the roofing system can cause potential failure, point for leaks to develop, and it is unknown at this time if the roof can even support a deck structurally. Additionally, there is no door to the 2-story section either, because again, this is a story and a half. A new door would have to be cut into the wall before you would go to that expense of hiring a structural engineer and code reviewer. It should be noted that the power lines, and that's a big one, she says the power lines would have to be moved. They're within the rear alley, and it would not allow for proper clearance for the stairs. And the AC unit is also located at the rear of the building and would be in the way of the stairs. The option does not appear to be feasible. She says the feasible option would be to reinstall the stairs at the location they were previously. And the picture that Kevin showed, it's on the side. It's kind of cool. It's something different. You don't see that very often, but it comes right out to the sidewalk. So the stairs at this location allows for direct access to the exterior from the second story. And like I said, if you go upstairs, the door is still there. And so they put wood to cover the door space. So basically, we would just take that out, and the original door is still working. Okay, so there is sufficient space for a car to maneuver past the landing of the stairs. The stairs will not impede access to the drive-through if a car were stopped at the drive-through on the south side of the alley. Additionally, an existing landing and power poles are already encroached 3 feet into the alley across from the drive-through. So 2 cars passing each other if one is stopped at the drive-through is not currently possible because it's a one-way, and there's one-way signs there. So there used to be stairs that went out and a deck. The deck's no longer there, but the stairs are, and that's the 3-foot encroachment stairs that she's talking about that's currently there right now. Okay, so you would be creating a situation no worse than exists today or existed historically. I would recommend a bollard be installed to protect the new stairs from vehicles turning into the alley. I would recommend you request a 5-foot encroachment on the south side of the building from the front of the building facade to the west side of your existing landing. So basically, she says, my only option is where it was before. So I would just need to use the space. When the stairs was torn down, they should have put the stairs right back up and I wouldn't be here. But since they didn't, I have to get permission from you all in order to do that. So I would like to be able to, access the second floor. It hasn't been touched in many, many years, and the longer we wait, the more destruction to it. In addition, the people next door are going to wall up that hole in the wall, and I won't be able to access it at all. So anyway, that's why I'm here, and hopefully I get your permission to do that. Thank you.
Any questions for Stacy from the board? Any questions for Kevin or?
Kevin, what's the width of the alley there right now?
The alley is 16 feet from building face to building face. And Stacy's right, there's already probably a 3-foot encroachment on her side of the alley from an old set of stairs that led up next to a loading dock. And there's already a utility pole there. On the other side of the alley against Cowan's, there is also a utility pole. So there's already some restrictions in the alley. And again, since this was the historic access point for that second floor, I'm all about trying to make sure we're moving traffic safely in our downtown. But, I really think this is a situation where this is historically where it was. There is enough room to get cars by safely. And so I would support your decision to allow her to reinstall that staircase. I should also point out that this would be subject to Historic Preservation Commission approval.
Yeah, this is essentially the first step to let her then request the Historic Preservation Commission based on the materials and all of that as well. And didn't you say you had the support of Cowan's as well?
Yeah, I actually, I talked to Luann and asked her, I said, hey, what do you think about me putting in the stairs so I can access the second floor? And she said she had no problem with it, as long as people can still go through the drive-through and access the alley, which they will be. Like I said, Jenny from the engineering firm said there's plenty of room.
Yep.
So Kevin, how many feet will be there for access in the alley?
I would say it'll probably be about 11 by the time it's said and done.
11 feet, okay.
At the most narrow point. But and she's right, it's a one-way alley. It's my understanding the situation that caused the removal of the staircase, it was, many people might remember Richard Bennett Furniture that used to be on the location of the Huntington Bank drive-through area. It was a delivery, a semi-truck actually that came through there. Well, none of the businesses on that side of the square get semi-truck deliveries anymore, so that's not a concern at this time. So keeping it open to one-way traffic in an 11-foot minimum, it's probably going to be more than 11, is going to be acceptable. It's tight, people will need to be driving slow. That's why we're also recommending that the bollard be installed to protect the structure. But I also like the idea of putting pedestrians out towards 39, the way it was originally intended, as opposed to sending them down the alley. I think it would be safer for pedestrians for them to come out in a more visible location.
Is there any box trucks or anything like that to
My understanding, no. Any deliveries that they do get come north and south behind Cowan's and not down that alley east and west. And they are smaller delivery trucks.
They just have to make sure we can plow because we have to plow the alley for Cowan's.
Is 11 feet enough?
Well, we've already talked about getting a truck for the small plow, right?
We all make it in our pickup is going to be plowed. Just so as long as they know that we get it. If not, we'll have to figure something else out.
Okay.
That'd be our main concern.
Okay.
It's just a question, but from the standpoint of what you want to use that for, you said you want to convert that into apartments?
Yeah.
Plural apartments or just one?
One apartment. I don't know, what would you say is, we were just kind of guesstimating about 1,000 square foot, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, it really is a shame we've lost a lot of the downtown living. the views from that second story, as well as any of the second or third stories downtown, are just stunning of our courthouse. It's a shame that we can't have more people down there living in that manner and enjoying that space.
My question is, and I don't know, do we have any restrictions with apartments for parking for tenants that are going to be in apartments? Is there something that?
That'd be for the planning department to consider, right? We're just talking about the staircase at this point, so the use discussion, that would come later.
Okay.
I believe since it's less than 6 units, is that right? Since it's less than 6 units in the downtown central business district, she's not required to have parking for those residents.
Any other questions in regards to the staircase?
Nope.
Okay. Any public comment?
Hi, Missy Krulik with the Heart of Lebanon. The Heart of Lebanon is here to support Stacy Dempster in her desire to create upper floor housing in her building at 116 North Lebanon Street. Upper floor housing has been a part of downtown since the days the community was built. Before automobiles, business owners likely lived upstairs and their daily commute was a flight of stairs. With increase of automobiles, populations began to move to the suburbs and commute to their places of business. The upper floor living spaces were either rented out, used for storage, or left vacant by the owner, who didn't want to become landlords. When vacant, these spaces were not monitored and often allowed roof leaks to go unnoticed and spaces to deteriorate. In the 1990s, we saw a resurgence of people wanting to live downtown again. In recent years, with working from home being prevalent, people are wanting to live in more vibrant areas with amenities that they need and want. Upper floors and historic downtown buildings fit this bill. Many Main Street organizations and municipalities are creating programs to help restore upper living housing in their downtowns. They are seeing a return on investment, typically far greater than the return on developing entire new neighborhoods. People living in these upper floor housings are more apt to eat, shop, and entertain downtown, thus helping local businesses and reinvigorating the heart of the community. Many of our downtown buildings' upper floors are vacant and sitting empty, and I know there are still more that you can't even gain access to. The access to them has been eliminated. So we are excited that Stacy is wanting to utilize this space for residential use and restore the historic entrance. And we hope that more of our building owners follow suit.
Thank you, Missy. Any other public comment? Okay. Any discussion from the board?
I hate to date myself, but I remember those stairs. I remember driving around those stairs.
So it's doable, you've done it.
Yeah. My only comment is that I'm all for any housing or residence downtown upstairs. I think it's neat if we could have that all the way around the square, so
Yep.
I would be in support of it. Do we need to make a motion?
Yeah,
that
so-
would be subject to the Historic Commission or anything approval?
That's probably the best bet. I think the motion would be to approve the alley encroachment request, subject to the approval of the Historic Preservation Commission.
I will
Yeah.
make that motion.
Okay. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that is approved. All right, look forward to what you do. Thanks, Stacy. Okay, next up is a street closure request from the Heart of Lebanon. Missy? Sorry, Miss, I'm calling you back up. Is that okay?
Okay. Missy Krulik from the Heart of Lebanon again. I am before you tonight to get several street closures, so hang in there with me. Just thought I would do them all at once instead of coming to you every meeting to ask for more. So first, use the overhead. Is there any, did I make it too big?
That's good there.
Can you see it?
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry, I made my paper's too big. Okay, so first street closure request is for summer nights, car cruise-in. which is hosted by Keith and Amanda Hockenberry, and they're here tonight, so thanks for joining us. And I'm thankful for these community members who wanted to bring something downtown, and they have spearheaded this initiative, and I've just kind of been helping them with logistics. So car cruising, and then the Heart of Lebanon provides music on the plaza. These car cruising dates are May 14th, June 11th, July 16th, August 13th, September 9th, and October 8th. They're all the second Friday of the month, except July, which is the third Friday. Okay, sorry, September 10th. Got that wrong. Thank you. The event and street closure is the same, 6 to 8. These, the cars that come to these cruise-ins have got it down to a T. They pull up, they park. We just really don't need the street closure until the time of the event when people come to look at the cars. We're asking for the street closure of North Meridian Street from Washington to Main, and South Meridian Street from Main to South Street. So you can see under the lights, and then South Meridian Street. We fill this up pretty fast, so we need overflow.
Yep. So Main Street stays open for traffic?
Main Street stays open, and the public uses the crosswalks.
Great. Okay.
So
I'm going to do these one at a time.
that would be great.
Any questions for this street closure request? Okay, would entertain a motion to approve as presented?
I would make a motion to approve that as presented.
Okay, we have motions. Are a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that is approved. Okay.
All right, great. We hope to see everyone on this Friday. We have 1 Foot In, which is a 60s band that's coming to play, and have the classic cars on the square, so we're excited about that. Okay, the second one is Lebanon City Market. This is just a parking space closure request. The Lebanon City Market runs every Tuesday, June through August, from 4 to 7 p.m. We have our Lebanon City Market located on the Big Four Trail along Main Street, and we have 15 vendors already signed up this year, and with some social distancing that's still needed, we need to extend it over in front of the Heflin building and the Tribbett Rich building. So I'm asking for parking space closures on the south side of Main Street in front of the Heflin building and the Tribbett Rich building from 3 to 7:30 p.m. so we can set up our vendors in that area.
Any questions for Missy that from the board? Okay, we entertain a motion to approve as presented.
I make a motion we approve as presented.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
I think it was Alan. Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that is approved.
The next one is Summer Nights, music on the plaza. There we go. So we have the dates of June 4th, June 25th, June 2nd, July 2nd, July 9th, 23rd, and the 30th, and August 6th, 20th, and 27th. These are all Friday nights. The event runs from 7:30 to 9:30, and it's located on Meridian Street underneath the lights from Washington to Main. And I would like street closure of that area from 7 to 10 p.m. Last year, we did music on the plaza, and we did not close the street. We kept it open, and it allowed for limited seating. So this year, we've got some great performers lined up, so we'd like to be able to, for the community to come out and bring their lawn chairs and sit.
And those are Friday nights?
Those are Friday nights
nights,
this
okay.
year.
Okay. Any questions for that from the board? Okay. Would entertain a motion to approve as presented.
I'd make a motion to approve that as presented.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Is that it, Missy, or you got a couple more?
No, I got more.
More?
I got more.
Busy summer.
We're gonna have a great summer
Absolutely.
downtown. Okay, so this is a Summer Nights event. It's a vintage trailer rally. This is something a little different. I'm asking for street closure for the weekend of June 18th. We're gonna have a vintage trailer rally where people can come and bring their vintage trailer and set up underneath the lights from June 18th at 6 p.m. until June 9th at 5 p.m. There is enough space for 12 vintage campers. That night we'll also have music on the plaza. Ileana Weston will be there. She's a country artist. She'll be playing from 7:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. And we also plan to have some activities, camping activities, and pull in some of the businesses for Father's Day weekend. And so I'm asking for an overnight closure so that those campers can stay there for the night.
Okay.
So something a little different.
Any questions on that? Okay, we'll entertain a motion. Oh, go ahead.
These vintage campers are small, like small Can-Tams. They're not the elaborate setup that, the campers nowadays that are made with the pull-outs, and they're basically, you just drive them up and park them. And they'll be spaced out like the light poles, so there'll be spaces in between the campers, but yeah, if they needed to be moved.
So they'll be disconnected from the vehicles?
Yes.
I think that's his question.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
We owned a vintage camper, and I think we moved it by hand once, so they're small. Yeah, they're small campers.
Any other questions, concerns? Okay, we'll entertain a motion to approve as presented.
I'll make a motion, we approve the vintage trailer rally on June 18th and 19th to allow them to stay overnight on June 18th.
18th.
18th, right. I'm sorry.
We have a motion there, a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that is approved.
Another one?
No.
How many more do you have?
You want me to stop? I
Yeah,
can come back.
can we come back? And
Yeah,
we got some other stuff on the agenda. Yeah, thanks, Missy. I know it's a busy summer, but I guess I didn't get a brief on how big this would be, so.
I was thinking we should change our logo from Friendly City to Music City.
Yeah, really? Hey, that's good branding too, so.
Well, I will see you next month.
Absolutely, thank you, Missy. It's a good bite of it tonight. Street request from Joe. Matt, are you covering that, or we pushed that one later as well? All right, next up is the street closure request from Ryan Ottinger. Or do Ryan?
Before
Kevin?
Ryan gets up here,
Oh, yeah, sorry.
just an update, or I guess an introduction. As many of you know, the Lebanon Utilities is replacing the water mains on Syracuse Drive. So what we're looking at here, and they've been doing that under traffic essentially at this time. But what you're looking at here is this is the intersection of Syracuse and Garfield, and then Syracuse wraps around and hits Garfield again, and then Garfield goes north. Reese Park is located to the northeast here on the north side of the creek. So they're going to need to possibly have to close Garfield Street, really in between where Syracuse crosses it for the water main installation. So with that, I will just turn that over to Ryan and let him, give you any more information, answer any questions you might have.
Yep.
Thank you, everyone. It's good to be here. A lot of familiar faces from over the years, so I appreciate everyone's time. I'm going to swap this out with mine and hope that I get this correct. What I'm requesting is, our Syracuse Drive project is scheduled to go to, wrap around Syracuse to Fairlane, where Fairlane and and Garfield meet, and that's where the project was scheduled to end. But in discussing with the contractor and looking at it on paper, we have fairly new water main up to the bridge at the Park Place Housing Addition. Actually, on the other side of the bridge, there's a valve on the south side, and we're looking into, if we have the budget left over with our contingency money, adding that small stretch there, which would make more sense instead of leaving pipe from the, that is, 45, 50 years old in that small section, because that's where the break's going to probably end up being. We know how Syracuse Drive has been over the years. It's been a nightmare. So we're looking at closing that. Like I said, it would depend on the budget. The closure would be for a couple days, approximately mid-June. All the homeowners would still have access to their drives. We could let people in and out, but when we're laying the water main, it would be closed for a few days. Then there would be a second closure about a week and a half later, once all the pressure testing is done, the bacteria test passed, and we'll put new services in to all the homes. We will be able to do that. And the homes that would be out of water would just be during that service, so maybe a couple hours at most, because we do have valves in the area. I'm not sure where we would close it. It would depend on where the contractor. We could close it where the old cul-de-sac was there, where the actual road closed sign that we have there is, and that could be a turnaround, or we could just close it to non-residents or to through traffic at the, that Maple and Garfield also, depending on what the contractor needs or the size of it. So I can take any questions on this. Like I said, this was kind of just added on and suggested as we are getting through the project. So it may not come to that point that we need it. We're hoping that we do have the budget left over to go ahead and fulfill that and just have all new water main throughout the project.
How many homes are involved?
It looks like it would just be the 4 or 5 homes right there on the south side of the bridge on Garfield, because we're going up to the valve there at Fairlane, so that house on the corner would not be involved. So just the 4 or 5 services that are there.
Okay.
It wouldn't, and the way that they're doing it is we are leaving the old main in and the service is on until the new main passes, and then the services are connected. That's how we're doing the whole project. So it'll be very minimal. We'll give door notices, knock on doors, let everybody know there'll be a disruption of service during this time, and we can put the road closure on or after signs up also, just to kind of give everybody a heads up that during this time that they need to find an alternative route.
Okay.
That road is pretty heavily traveled, especially in the afternoon.
I think people use it as a cut through. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So we will, as soon as we decide, we could put on a road close on or before this date, or before or after this date.
Yep. Any other questions for Ryan? My thought is to approve this subject of coordination with the city engineer, so Kevin stays on top of what's going on and we can kind of keep everybody in the loop on that. So I don't necessarily want to have to approve a certain set of dates for you tonight and just kind of make it contingent upon working with Kevin. You guys board okay with that? Is board okay with that? Yeah.
That's good.
Any other thoughts or questions for Ryan?
No.
Okay, would entertain a motion then to approve the street closure request for the Syracuse Drive water main project, subject to coordination and details with the city engineer.
So move.
Okay, we have motions there. A second?
Second.
I think it's Judge McClure. Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that is approved. Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, everyone.
Appreciate that. I know that's pretty old pipes in that area, so glad we're replacing those. All right, Kevin, you had one now as well?
We have one more.
Okay.
Max, I'm sorry, it's been a long night. So Max Mendenhall with Boone County is here. The county is requesting a street closure of Washington Street from Lebanon Street, 039, to Meridian Street. This will hopefully just be a one-day closure this Wednesday for them to set up a crane and remove and replace rooftop chiller units on top of the building. So HVAC work on the on the roof. As I said, Max Mendenhall with Boone County is here to answer any questions or concern you might have, but he has my support for the street closure.
So Kevin, just give me a nod. It's Wednesday the 12th, is that correct? Did I do the math right?
Yes, Wednesday the 12th, right? Yeah, this coming Wednesday. Max Mendenhall, Boone County. Kevin really summed it up pretty good. We did request to close that entire section between 39 and Meridian. We're going to try to close it at the alley so that Lacey Boggs still has access for her patients and that type of thing. Contractors told us it'd probably be half a day closure, but we put a little extra in there in case of weather or unforeseen issues.
Okay. Any questions for that? There's kind of no other way to do this, so. Okay. Would entertain a motion to approve the closure as presented.
I'll make a motion, we approve the closure of Washington Street from 39 to Meridian for Boone County to do their replacement of their HVC.
Okay. We motion, there a second?
May the 12th, this Wednesday.
May the 12th.
Yep.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, all good?
Thank you, Board.
Okay, I think I got all the street closures done, or except for Missy's. All right, the last up is contract review, Seashore Water Park.
Okay.
John?
Good evening. Here before you here tonight for your approval for the mayor to sign the contract with HWC Engineering. This will be for the master planning and conceptual design for the expansion of the Seashore Water Park. There again, the contract is total of $50,900, and I'm here to get your acceptance upon legal review and also funding, which has kind of been approved, but I'm going to ask again at the council meeting.
Okay. So just clarify for those watching at home, this is a preliminary first step to think about, what are the steps we need to go
Correct.
through to start the expansion. We don't have any.
It's just nice to start this project now, right before the pool opens. We can get a lot of ideas.
Yep.
A lot of people don't show up to these open public hearings, and I think we'll get a lot of good input this way. So
I think I agree.
And if you recall the last pool, I think it was a 3 or 4 year process that we finally got it done, get all the ideas and all the things worked out. So I was just asking for approval for the mayor or park board president, whoever you'd like to sign upon.
I just didn't want any rumors to start that we're building the pool tomorrow. I just wanted to make sure people knew that we're just taking our first step to start the planning process to look at that, so.
Just the planning process. This is the engineering before. It's master planning and conceptual design. We'll have 3 or 4 different ideas out there, so there'll be input for quite some time. The main project will be probably completed 6 months, 7 months, and then we'll get everybody else's idea on pick one, like we did last, so there you go.
Any other questions for John? Okay. We'll entertain a motion to approve the contract review, subject to legal review, and authorizing the mayor to sign on our behalf.
Rob, have you reviewed this? Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve a master planning agreement with HWC Engineering, subject to Rob's review of agreement, and authorize the mayor to sign it as soon as it is reviewed and funding is approved by the council.
Yep. We have a motion there, a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that is approved. Thank you, John. Okay, that concludes what I have for new business. Is there anything from council or board? Nope. Okay, on the claims then, and would entertain a motion concerning the claims.
I make a motion, we approve the claims.
We have a motion to approve the claims. Is there a second? Second. Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Claims are approved, and would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, we are adjourned. Our next Board of Works meeting will be at 6:15 on Monday, May 24th. And Lebanon Redevelopment Commission is up next.